my show. We're doing it. Look at me. Hello. Welcome to episode
in between of
episode in between of
episode
Salt Bae.
2 and 3.
All right, she GM'd one game and now she's like drunk with power. Take it away, Terry.
All right, you guys. So welcome to the Salt Bae Talkback. I'm so excited to be here and happy to have you all with us. I have been yelling in caps all day on the internet about this tonight. So I am literally bursting with joy, and I have not been able to stop talking as we've been gearing up tonight with our whole Salt Bae family. So we're going to go around the horn and just, I'm sure most of you, if you're watching this, you probably know who we are already, but just in case there's any new people, we should probably tell them who we are.
Damn,
hi,
you're real good at this.
You know, it's almost like I've hosted things before. It's weird. Maybe. My name is Terry Gamble. I play Eoj Reichert, a pirate on this intrepid crew with a heart of gold and a love for life and my baby and my common law wife. We'll say that.
We're engaged, I think.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got down on a knee or something.
Yeah, she said yes to get you to shut up.
As all marriages work, right?
Yeah.
Totally.
Well,
who's next?
I'll go next because I can see the order on the screen. Hi, everyone. I'm Eric, and I play Dirty Hank, who is the dwarven monk who's got all the stormy powers and drinks a lot and punches a lot and gets punched a lot, mostly.
Okay, keep directing, Eric.
Okay, it's Havana's turn.
Oh my God, Dom peaked screaming my name. I've been waiting for this moment. Yeah, I'm Havana. I play Addie Baumjahr, and I am a fighter, half elf, the captain of the ship, and a baby mama extraordinaire. And thanks for coming. Thanks to everybody who submitted questions.
Abria.
Hi, I'm Abria Iyengar. I play everyone else in the game. I'm the GM.
Hi, that means me. That I'm next. I'm Nega Oryx, and I play Trislin Orana, our void tiefling rogue.
And I'm Dom Zook, and I am the executive producer of everything Saving Throw. And yeah, welcome to the season 2 Talkback. It's great to have you. And I am loving being here with all of these lovely people, even though we are remote and we are socially distancing ourselves. But the show must go on, and we are here to answer your questions. If you have not submitted a question yet, and you would like a question answered, just FYI, we will be answering the questions that were submitted first. And of those, we will be answering ones that were submitted by subscribers or Patreon backers first. And then we will be answering other ones from there. So hold on to your questions until we're done going through the list. And then we will kick it back to live chat for questions. But if everyone is ready to go, I should say, Pirates of Salt Bae is returning for season 3 next week.
What? Oh gosh,
God.
I gotta call some people. I gotta change some. Oh gosh.
I didn't agree to that. You'll hear from my lawyer.
I told you can never leave.
Hadal, you're here. That's fun. Thanks for joining us.
I'm gonna try to find a snap filter so I can actually physically look like Hadal during the game.
You gotta get
a voice modulator too.
Oh my God! I'm so turned on right now.
Lick it.
Are we in love again, but like different?
This is Twitch cops. What you're doing is illegal.
Shit,
it's against
the
TOS.
cops.
Please pull the stream over.
Serpentine.
That is the funniest shit I've ever seen.
Oh my God.
I'm like half a White Claw in, you guys. This is too much.
Next level.
Quit bragging about your White Claw, okay, Abria? Some of us have water and almond milk, and that's it, okay?
Yeah.
I am also drinking
I have oat milk.
a hard seltzy, but mine's vegan and gluten-free and good and all kinds of goodness too. It looks like water,
mediocre.
Right? Looks like water. Tastes better than a White Claw, I can tell you that.
That's not hard to do, I'm sure.
I think
it's
so.
not. It's really not.
You're not wrong.
I was gonna say I've never tasted my own butthole, but I can guarantee you,
It's
I mean,
delicious.
Get in
better
there.
than White Claw.
Okay, here we
Wow,
go.
okay.
Yeah, sorry, I'm cutting that off.
How dare you?
I was done talking.
Thunder
Yes, you
Cabbage 1 has the first question. You've done the hot springs episode. When is the beach episode? This is anime, right?
Well, as I've stated previously, once we defeat the great evil, the last episode always has to be a barbecue, like in Dragon Ball Z.
Oh,
Not wrong.
that's a good point. That's a good point.
Everyone will have cute swimsuits, and there'll be like a weird watermelon thing. It'll be full anime, don't you worry?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The villain from 2 seasons ago will now be our friends.
Yeah.
Jimmy Buffett.
Oh
my God.
Vegeta would just be there.
End up on the beach with Jimmy Buffett.
That'd be so cute.
But will Vegeta be there? Please tell me no.
I mean, he'll
We were a
be
little
there,
bit-
but he'll be like in the back, arms crossed, scowling the entire time.
Yeah.
We were
my
a little
God.
bit on the beach during the Tots game that I got to run. We got a
Yeah.
little beach time. And had a little bit of fight on the beach and meeting parents and things on the beach. So
That's
who knows?
Rain died on a beach.
Yeah.
Hey, Abria.
Fun.
Cut it out. Cut it out, Bria. Shut
Oh
it
my
down.
God.
Okay.
I'm good every time.
So good.
The answer's
next-
yes. Is that I
next
forget what the question was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, beach episode for sure.
there will
um,
definitely be a beach episode. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
A surf competition.
Ooh.
Okay, next question. See Me David 95 asks, what was one of the most memorable moments for you from the past season?
Ooh.
Ooh,
Nega.
thank you. I raised my hand because I got so
Mhm.
excited.
Mhm.
Forever and all eternity, Abria and Havana doing Addie and Grown Up Rose.
Oh no.
That was just one of the best things that I personally have watched in tabletop, let alone like been at the table for. And it was so heartbreaking and so emotional. And I cried sitting at the table. And it's my favorite thing ever. And I'm eternally glad. I remember Abria asking me, like, will you play Baby Rose? Do you want to play Rose? And I was like, nope, not at all, because I know y'all are gonna do something way better than what I could do. And it was so good, and I'm so glad I just got to sit there and like watch it in person. It was beautiful and my favorite thing that we've ever done on the show, I think.
Oh,
Thanks, Nags.
thanks. I have
Anyone
a dumb
else?
answer in
Okay.
contrast to yours. The way you guys like super rallied for in the season premiere episode, you guys got very emotionally invested in the Goliath couple, the like mixed soup. And like it was just so hard. I was just like, I don't want to do bad things to them. Like it was one of those ones where like I just remember like watching your guys' faces was super good and fun, and then me like trying to figure out how to retcon like not hurting that, and just did anyway. But it was really cute.
Oh
I like
my
when you
God,
guys
yeah.
like little NPCs that are like, this is a nothing thing. They liked it.
We love them. Your NPCs
love
are
'em.
everything.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things is how Abria will take somebody, like we'll be like, tell us everything about this person that doesn't exist, and she's like, okay, well here's a couple of things about them. Like I think in the season premiere, I came across a gnome who's married to a Goliath, and I was like, how's your wife been? And then you described it, and then Havana was like, tell me everything about this Goliath.
I need to know more.
Yeah, all the things.
So apparently I can only think of Goliaths in the premiere. Noted.
I think another thing that I really liked this season is I love all the world building that Abria does in general, but
Please stop complimenting me. I will fucking leave.
no,
Thank
you just please accept my compliments with love. You are very worthy of them, so please. But
That part, yep.
like I really felt like a lot of the stuff in the first season is like introducing everyone to the world, and now in this season you can kind of build upon it in a more detailed way because we know who the characters are and there's less setup required. And like I loved all of the stuff that you came up with for like the drinking bowls with the tea, and like the way the weather has it's completely colored and characterized the way you built everything there, where it's like, okay, so the buildings account for the fact that it rains a lot, and this is what people are used to, and this is how they listen to music, and this affects the way they dance and the way clubs work there. And like that world building for me was the most fun part to engage with, because I felt like Eric was saying, we could ask you any random question and you had like a detailed answer for it, which just makes it feel more immersive, you know?
Thank you.
Agreed.
Probably
Totally.
one of my favorite moments from last season was Eosh's like fall to Hadal again, because it was like so it's so fun, like it's like hard, like it. Terry's so good at playing Eosh that sometimes I get mad at Terry for what Eosh does, which is exactly what Eosh should be doing, but it's like, God damn it, Eosh.
Yeah, I think just in general, like how Hadal has developed, like leaving our first season thinking like, you know, okay, maybe this is dealt with, maybe we've got a new big bad coming in the next season, only to have sort of it Voldemort style Hadal come back bigger and stronger and like need us less, and like it's, you know, he's like gotten what he wanted from us, and how he's like wielding it now. And I think Abria, how you play Hadal is always like kind of shakes me to my core. I really love that, and just how much it like splits the party, you know, because it's like we've all either have or have not been involved with it all, but it's all in varying degrees, right? If you have been, you've been really deep, or you've touched the surface, or somewhere in between. And if you know you haven't, or you've thought about it, like, and I just love that it's like, yeah, okay, it's a big bad, yeah, Hadal's like this god killer, but also it's like this underlying theme that is constantly affecting all of us individually and our party dynamic, and it doesn't even matter anymore if Hadal is like physically or literally present. Yeah.
Word.
Okay. I have a real answer. Both
Are all our answers fake?
Yeah, I was making it up. I hate every
first one
moment of
was
this show.
fake. God
She had a
damn
fake
it.
answer, not you.
Thank you. So let
Forget
me.
these liars. Listen to me.
No, what my actual answer is, both of the top one shots. The Toxville was like such a weird throwaway like joke of an idea, and I don't think I'll ever be able to say like how cool it was that like getting to be at the table for both of you guys. Like you're both amazing DMs, especially like Terry. You've never DM'd before. That's amazing. Vanna, like, I will follow you to any game ever. I went to Indianapolis for one. I will go even farther for any more in the world. You stunned me, and just being able to like be at a table and like sit in a world that was like a silly idea, but it feels so real and like consistent. I don't know. It was really cool and super fun. So thank you for letting me be at the table. That's my favorite part.
Hell yeah. Abria, I just think you're amazing. I'm gonna say that again. I know you hate it, but I'm gonna do it again.
Go.
So joyous to get to play with you. What was so fun was watching you destroy Thrain with Hadal.
I think that was you. I think you were doing it. You were the one
Sorry,
killing
but
you were the one killing
that
Thrain the
wasn't
whole
me.
time. That was
that moment
That
was
was not me.
fucked up. I was like,
but that was like
Yeah.
cinematic. Like I could see that, like the way you described it, like it was like watching a freaking Marvel movie in my head.
right.
Like it was so visceral. Like we were like I hated being that person too, but like getting to be like a part of that moment was like epic, like beyond epic. And that's one of those like role play moments that's like plays over in my head randomly, because I'm just like, that was so visually like just jarring and stunning and so cool. And I think about it a lot, like even going into the like running and GMing, that made me be like, I have to have something that's epic. Like I was like in my head, like trying to like, because it was just so cool. And
Yeah.
just like the depths that you're willing to take characters and go, I think is really fun to get to be a part of. And that moment for me with the freaking chain between the two and then between the worlds. Ugh.
Yeah. I think it was also a concept that was like very subtle in its presentation, but very strong in its conceptualization. So it's like that moment of realization hits so hard. And I think you set it up perfectly. And it was just like one of those really, really potent moments at the table that probably not going to forget very soon.
Good answers. Okay.
Thank you for the validation, Tom.
Huh? What?
Tom is like a bored PE teacher with us right now.
Yeah, good hustle, kids. Good hustle.
Great.
Hit the showers.
5 more minutes.
Man, you guys like to talk. Okay.
Nobody's asked Dom about his day, what he's been going through. They haven't asked him about his soup
Dom?
at all. He made a nice stew in an Instapot, and no one's brought it up.
Wait,
What
did
kind
you?
of stew was it?
I did. It was a vegetable beef soup
Why didn't you
In
give
the
me
Instant
any?
Pot?
in an Instant Pot.
I
Yes.
yelled really loud, I'm sorry.
delicious.
Wait, why
Uh,
did you not give me any?
Yeah.
It wasn't made when you swang by.
Do you guys
Swang.
physically see each other?
No.
No.
I was outside his door and I went like this.
Yeah. And I was like,
But you could have left stew out there.
you wouldn't
could
have.
have.
You wouldn't have wanted this one. It was my first attempt at doing something like
I
this.
want
And
stew.
I like
no,
it.
now do the voice thing. Now do the voice thing.
Oh, okay.
Arcane Archivist asks, having now encountered both Torlar Opti,
Hold on. Chat, remind me later. We're going to have an NPC named Borth.
growing up with a stutter sucked. Anyways, having now encountered both
Okay,
Torlock
come on.
Opti and seen Hadal's new walking god devouring form, which of the two big bads is the more terrifying?
Ew.
I mean, I
Can
think
you ask the question again? I blacked out.
Having now encountered both Torlock Opti and seen Hadal's new walking god devouring form, which of the two big bads is the more terrifying?
Oh, definitely Hadal, God
Yeah.
Killer.
Yeah,
yeah,
I would agree.
because like
Yeah.
Torlock Opti probably wants to destroy some cities or be immortal or something like whatever,
Or
like
something.
subjugate the people. Hadal wants to end existence.
Yeah.
Bria's like, now I could see her mind just rolling right there. She's like, oh, you guys aren't intimidated by him?
Hey,
Now
Terry.
can turn him up.
Hey,
It's-
Terry,
turn
shut
him
up.
It's
Shut up.
it's
You
I mean,
can't talk so hard with your face. That's what you need to work on that. Because now it's like, oh no.
But it's just
we're
that
all like, Hadal. It's fine. She's literally using this opportunity to create more nightmare fuel for us. So be careful what you say, guys, because she is going to use it against us. And I
Oh, you
see
know what
her.
I'm afraid of is a big pile of kittens. My worst
Ah.
I know
fear.
getting smushed by a big pile of kittens.
I hope
Same.
that never happens in this
smushed?
game. Yeah.
You
Smushed
do
by
not
them?
want a swarm of kittens, trust me.
As someone whose characters almost died to rats, yeah, no, I don't.
in two different
Kittens had
campaigns.
been there, you would have been
Uh-huh.
okay.
Wait, 2 different times I've almost died
In
to rats.
two different campaigns.
Wait,
What was
when
the
did-
other one?
What was the other one?
In Iron Keep,
And then
you-
what?
and then in this there was a giant homunculus made of rats that took over a ship, and then you jumped
Yeah.
inside of it and shot
Do you
it.
remember Rat
God,
Ship?
I didn't realize that.
Rat Ship was based off of your Pugmire game.
I know, and I love you, and I appreciate you. I just, I'm dealing with, I'm having to cope that my brand is death by rats, and I need a minute.
That's fair.
I would buy merch of that though, just as a
I would.
heads up. Like
You also made a rat king.
My rats like shirts. Yeah.
that sounds like a really good
and I
band
made
name.
Rat King. What?
Yeah. Vanda, you got a rat
Am
king?
I okay?
It's like an awakening right now. Like
Are
Am I
you
Wilbur?
realization.
Isn't that guy who loves rats? Am
Yep.
I Wilbur?
You might be
What?
Willard.
Willard. Sorry, yeah.
Willard.
Played by Crispin
Am I
Glover.
Wilbur the pig?
I'm like, who the fuck is Wilbur? Oh god.
Are you talking about Templeton from fucking...
No, It's not important.
This is Frisbee?
It's not important.
No, it's very important.
Let's move on. I'll talk to my therapist about it later.
Dork Lord Canada asks,
Dork Lord!
Yes.
for Abria, it hurts my heart that you don't like Canadian money. Why? Did a loonie hurt you? The loonie is a $1 coin because it has a loon on it. You know that.
It did
You know that because you hate it.
I got very embarrassed as a child when I went to go pay for something at like a gift store, and I had like 4 Canadian pennies, and they were like, "We don't accept this," and I couldn't get like a little glass hummingbird from Mission San Juan Capistrano, and I got real salty about it. So I'm kind of mad at Canadian pennies
Because they infiltrate the American system.
and then really mean gift shop ladies won't let a fucking 4th grader buy a stupid glass thing.
What, she was supposed to give you shit for free?
Just for 4 cents cheaper, or just take the Canadian pennies.
Oh.
I had enough.
Yeah, no, she's a bitch.
Yeah. So fuck that money.
So, anyways, big bad of season 3, gift shop lady.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
And then there's a
Fact.
conundrum with some money from another place. Oh my God.
Ooh,
Can't
yeah,
wait.
Tottsville has its own currency, and it is, you guessed it, chewing
Tots to blow.
tobacco. Okay.
A semi-real answer is that it's actually physically like a little bit harder to pick up out of the thing, because like the other like campaign coins are really big and easy to grab.
Yeah, they're
So
a little
usually
thicker.
grabbing like the little ones, and I'm like, those are the ones that slip, and then you just get
Also,
that like.
we're
little
like
sneer.
sponsored by that company, and we're not sponsored by Canada.
Yeah, they gave us all
Yes.
of those
Yes.
to use.
Yeah.
I would be sponsored by Justin Trudeau's fine ass in a second.
Oh, happily sponsored by Canada anytime. I love Canada. Oh,
Yup.
spent 3
Horny
weeks in
for
Montreal
Canada.
last summer.
It's
It was
wild.
amazing. Oh,
I am
thinking about it.
30 days into my Duolingo for French, so like, let's go
Let's
French
go.
Canada.
Parlez-vous français?
No.
No! Oui, no, thank you.
Wow.
Dork Lord Canada also asks, for
Yeah.
everyone, what is one thing you would like to see happen for your character in season 3? Abria, feel free to speculate on whether anything mentioned is likely.
Thank you, Brett. I appreciate that.
You've been given permission.
All right. Begin.
Oh my God, what even is that?
Ugh, it
taking
tasted really
notes.
bad.
Let's just take notes.
I'm taking notes.
Did
On
you
a
put that
Post-it.
pin in your mouth?
I did. Like, haven't you ever seen the like, and you like lick it to make the ink come out?
It's
Yeah,
That's
you're
the
not, supposed to
thing.
be, you're not supposed to be putting shit in your mouth right now, Bria.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
It was a different time, different types of pen. I get it. She was like being like hello or something.
Right,
like,
right,
right.
Shakespeare.
Terry
ass.
understands me.
Oh, I get
I
it.
only
I
get the
just
ul-
am disappointed.
Okay, that's fair. But go on, answer the question.
Are we all thinking of answers and we're stalling? I like it.
I'm thinking now, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna try to get married to Addie, but we'll see how it goes. I
Yeah.
feel like I'm scared that it's probably not gonna work out. But
Should
we'll
they
see
go
what
to
happens.
couples therapy before or after?
Yeah. Oh
Is this
yeah.
like,
There's
yeah, I
pro-
imagine it's like a Mr. and Mrs. Smith thing where they have a shitty marriage, but every time like they get into a weird gunfight, they're like suddenly okay with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, this is why I thought you were so hot, because like you take command and like all that stuff. I'm sure. But yeah, I'm very curious to see if we actually get to work it out or what happens with our relationships. Could be any way, either direction, really.
Yeah. I think for Addie, I want her to reconnect with her other children.
Ooh.
I want to see what happens when Dirty Hank like encounters like more dwarven culture and more dwarven people, and like how that, because we teased that a little bit, but we haven't really explored that because there aren't a lot of dwarves at the high seas.
They're like usually underground, and maybe it's not the instinctual thing.
The opposite of boats.
Go above ground and also no land for you.
I think I want to see Trislin stop avoiding what happened with the Tots, and you know, she raised this group and brought them together in the first place, and things have kind of gone a different direction for them. And it sounds like there's a lot going on in Tottsville. Obviously, a lot happened with, some Tots dying, stuff like that. And I feel like she hasn't had to confront it necessarily. Yeah, I was glossing over that because it's not fun. Glossing over it like she glosses over it. I think that I'm interested to see like where that takes her emotionally, to have to deal with actual like repercussions and not just stealthing away and not dealing with things.
Rhea, do you want to?
All of those are like, I mean, a lot of those were seeded early on and are things that we've talked about before, like we've mentioned when we've talked about the characters. So yeah, there are definitely plans in season 3 to like dig into all of that. I also want to can I just say, like, the whole thing with Tristan and the like the dead tot, like Tiny Terry, the war tot, like, you guys, we all remember that like the war tot was like deep into Hadal's pocket, right?
Yeah, it wasn't like she was like, "Hey, Tristan," and then Tristan stabbed her in the throat.
Yeah.
She was like trying to kill her.
Yeah, okay. I just want to like make sure that like you are not carrying an unnecessary guilt for this.
No, but like I think there's still the guilt of she raised them.
Okay.
She fell under Hadal's influence, and then somebody that she views as like a charge of hers fell to the same fate. And so I think she carries the weight of like setting an example for the kids that looked up to her, and maybe wondering if she hadn't gone down that path, if they wouldn't have either, Okay. So I think cool. It's carrying the burden of it in a different way, not for the murder, but like getting them into the thing that got them murdered.
Like the murder's one, we can get past that. That's
whatever.
easy,
Murder happens every day,
Yeah.
but
Was a child
joining the cult.
You loved at some point, so
Mother.
You can be sad about that if you want.
It's a whole mixed bag of emotions. There's
Okay.
sadness, there's guilt, there's resentment, there's self-hatred. I think it's a fun little cocktail of anxiety.
Ooh.
Typical mother feelings. It's
You know
fine.
what
I
is
love that.
just, this is a total sidebar, but Negs, that moment like where that it comes to a head and the kids are there and they're like, "Oh, okay, what happened to Tiny Terry?" And you're trying to gloss over it, and then Addie just like steamrolls it because she's trying to get somewhere, and she's just like, "What are we talking about? No, they're dead. Can we go now?" Your reaction to that was so good that one of our mutual friends texted me the next day and asked if you were mad at me.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
It was me.
It wasn't Dom. It wasn't Dom. It was somebody who was watching the show, and they were like, "Wait, was she actually mad at you, or was she acting?" And I was like, "I think she was acting. I hope she was acting."
This is a really awkward time for me to address the fact that I was actually mad at you.
Oh,
yeah.
sorry.
No.
No, that's fair too.
That's a very big compliment.
Yeah.
Because I think that when I started this show, I feel like everyone else here comes from the background of like, even though this is you learning to play D&D, Terry, it's not you learning how to act or to role play. You know what I mean? And whereas for me, I feel like it's the opposite. Like I don't have a background in that. I just like the gaming aspect of it. And I've been learning from people that are much better than me at the like how to actually bring your character to life and not just pick traits you find interesting on the page. So I'm glad that someone actually questioned for a second if that was my emotion or the characters.
Yeah, I think you did a great job, taking the weight of that moment and really carrying it. So
thank you.
GG.
You can let them know that I was never mad too.
I told them that, I have an anxiety disorder, so I was never thinking you were mad at me. And then they said that, and I went, "Well, we're never going to speak again."
Yep.
But then we spoke after that, so I was like, "Oh, it's probably okay."
It's fine. Yeah.
That's how anxiety be.
That's how it be sometimes.
It do be that way.
Dorklord Canada asks,
Yeah.
for Terry, since we know Eosh is going to be planning the wedding, what sort of things does he have in mind?
Oh my God.
You think Addie's not going to help at all? Really?
I mean,
Okay,
she does like to boss people around.
Yeah, I feel like she's going to have some hand in the planning, and I'm going to have to like probably drag her along to like make some of the plans.
Back to Glass Rose Island for that wedding. Cliff divers at the wedding.
I feel like she's gonna have like a big
Disgusting.
say in whatever the entertainment is. I feel like she's probably got very specific tastes that are not gonna match with Eoj's. So he's gonna probably be like, please just pick the entertainment.
She just wants she wants cannons firing, and you're like, okay, but what about a band?
like, will there be music? Like, we're gonna need something to dance to.
25 cannons.
Right. Okay.
All set at the exact same moment to explode.
Okay. Great.
That's it.
All right, but what are the people gonna do after? Because we're gonna want to like eat and drink and
right.
No,
I'll be tired.
Right, we're all gonna be tired, but like people are still gonna like they don't just come here to like listen to cannons. So like I imagine it'll be something.
But it's not their wedding, is it?
Right, but it's also mine, and I would like to eat and drink and maybe party a little bit.
It's kind of your wedding. Yeah, okay.
Okay. So yeah.
So kind of like that.
Yeah, I think that
Nice
might
little
be
preview of season 3, episode 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's the whole season. I'm not doing anything else.
Honestly, that's the thing
Would
I'm
watch.
looking forward to the most. Just as a viewer, I just want to watch this for an entire season.
Facts.
That's all I want.
We have our anime episode. We have our CW wedding episode. Do we have any other tropes that we need to go?
Oh man.
Dork Lord Canada now asks for Eric. If Dirty Hank planted something in his garden for each crew member, what would those plants be?
Ooh, like that.
He would, let's see. For Trislan, he would plant something that's that could be turned into like some sort of poison. Yeah.
True love. He does care.
He does care. For Adris, I imagine probably roses. Eoj.
My heart.
What would he give Eoj? Probably he would grow wheat that he could turn into bread.
And I can make more bread, more toast. Like find some raisins and throw it in there.
That's really cute.
And
raisins are grapes, right?
Yeah. I guess I gotta find grapes.
The conversation stops.
We all were like,
Sorry, could you repeat that?
I'm sorry.
They're grapes.
Great.
Voice changer is the best investment you've ever made.
What about Fair Juliet?
Yeah,
she's
a good ship.
She's a good ship. She doesn't eat.
That is true.
She has no need for any of this stuff.
She might like a flower, though.
She would have no concept of what it looks like.
You just have to put it on the ship.
Yeah.
You tape it to her face.
Okay, Dork Lord Canada, for everyone, what is one feature you would like to see Fair Juliet, she's a good ship, receive if she also got a glow up from a god?
Ooh.
I'm just going to jump in and say Fair Juliet can absolutely be leveled up. You just have to try.
So I want to go like off the walls with this where I have no concept of if it's possible or not, but my childlike brain just had a imagination
Let's go.
idea.
Let's go.
I like the idea of having her have some kind of godly glow up that's related to like the character's emotional journey, where if the characters open themselves up to like reliving a memory from their past, she can then take them to the location that they experienced it at. So like if they open up to I don't know, if they're touching the boards of the ship or whatever and they think back on a memory and they're reliving it, it allows her to navigate to that place that it occurred without actually knowing the cardinal directions of it.
Wow.
Because I feel
like that's great.
It would be a really interesting way for her to actually learn how to process like living emotion as well, because she's seeing the significance of those things. I think it would be interesting for her character. And I think that's such a nifty little cheat for like character development of us sharing things that we wouldn't otherwise share to get to home worlds and different locations. And I don't know, maybe like romantic wedding destinations. What? I don't know. Just
Ooh.
get out there.
That's great.
Hey Terry, write that shit down. That's not
No.
on me.
I already had that in. It's so weird that she was saying that. I was like, I feel like my.
Hello?
Ooh,
Sorry.
someone Siri is
Hi,
recording
Siri.
that information. Oh, Siri thought you said Siri instead of Terry. That's
She
funny.
said she thought I said, "Hey Siri, shut up," and then a bunch of words. Like none of that came out.
Wow.
I like that. I like the emotional journey. I like the destination. What about
Yeah.
SodaStream?
Ooh.
Wait, what? Oh.
Anyway.
Like a Pimp My Ride situation?
Yeah.
Just like if you
full
want to make a
on.
nice soda.
Put a blender in the
Yeah.
back?
Yeah,
Oh,
She
sure.
needs
I
a
would love that.
blender. She needs a blender,
Margaritas.
and then waiting for margaritas for sure.
I'm here for empathy navigation. Absolutely.
I love that though, but I was just thinking, I love empathy navigation, but I was just thinking like I was gonna say she should be the ship's counselor, and then you said that, and I was like, it's kind of
no.
similar idea because I was like,
She can't.
we all,
She doesn't have human emotion.
I know, which is why she's so
Yes.
great as that.
Okay, here's what we do.
That's not. I don't think how
We pull a
therapy works.
Farscape. We pull a Farscape,
Oh.
and we install a pilot who is
I don't like
fused to
sci-fi.
it. And-
I don't like sci-fi either.
yeah, but
Like anime, which is basically
not all
kinda like
anime is
sci-fi.
sci-fi.
well,
okay?
this is sci-fi
I
with
love
puppets.
sci-fi.
sci-fi with puppets.
Yeah,
Wait, I like puppets.
Sorry, puppets.
What?
Go back. What
yeah,
was that, Eric?
Farscape. Most of the cast is
Farscape
puppets.
is puppets?
Yeah, it's like 3 humans and a bunch of puppets in
I
space.
didn't know that.
And it's
I did not
real
know that
dark.
at all. What?
I don't think I've ever seen an episode of Farscape.
It's really good. It's Jim Henson Company did all the puppetry. Yeah.
How did
Gonna
I
have to
not
watch
know
that.
You guys, we should watch Farscape.
Yeah, let's leave now and do it.
Okay,
Yeah.
guys, it was
Okay,
so
bye.
fun chatting with you guys.
Thanks for joining
Bye.
us.
That
Okay.
sounds great.
Good.
cool.
Okay.
Good.
Dork Lord Canada has a lot. Okay.
Yeah,
we're almost-
baby.
No,
Big
wait. Okay,
notice.
here we go.
We told him to write
I
a
told him
bunch.
to give
Yep.
us a lot. And
Yep. Studley
he
Mare
listened.
asks, does Fair Juliet, she's a good ship, have a character sheet now that she is a sentient ship?
Oh.
Yes.
What's her alignment? Due north.
Roll a d20 for me and I'll tell you what her alignment is. Also, that was a very good joke. Who did that?
That was
Who
hilarious.
did the air horn?
Me.
Vanna.
Oh, well, again, Eric highlighted my joke.
No, I was going to give you props for the joke and then slap Eric in the mustache for the air horn.
I got
No,
a
I just
19.
glued it on.
How much did you get?
19.
Ooh, 19.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, her alignment is lawful neutral. She will she is loyal to you guys and will never disobey you for her own moral code. But once you establish something, it will be weird for you to countermand it. So she's learning based off of all of her points of interaction. So if you guys start giving her mixed messages, it will become interesting.
So she baby.
She baby, and she will grow in complexity really quick. So yeah, it's really cool. So I've made character sheets for Trislan's 400 pets. Rose, Rose has an arc. So if at any point we encounter a different version of her, she has stats and a character arc.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Yeah.
she's already growing up so
And the ship.
fast. Oh,
And there's one
baby.
person that reached out to me. I think his name was Mothman on Twitter and mentioned the interesting Rose paradox of meeting a future Rose, even though you guys were seeing you guys were shown a future where Hadal wins. So how is there an adult Rose that's super well adjusted? And I got to talk to them about that, and it was really good and
Yeah.
fun.
Oh.
Yeah.
Love to see it.
Yep.
If Hadal wins, that's going to be really anticlimactic into our show.
I don't think so. I think it's gonna be great. I'm
Oh, great.
I like how you say going to and not could be. We've just accepted it, apparently. Is that what's happening here?
I give up at the first sign of trouble across the board, and this is not going to be an
Oh.
exception.
Yeah, listen, I smashed that lantern and caused the apocalypse. There's nothing, you can't change it.
Hey, I have a question.
Apocalypse.
Was that Hank's fault? Was the
What?
apocalypse Hank's fault?
No. No, it was not. But it got it was ratcheted up because you released the Harbinger, so everything got a little worse. That's why Hadal's a god killer now.
What would he have been before? A snake killer?
Just like a shitty little warlock patron.
Oh yeah. So what you mean to
So
say
we
is
sent him on like
Hank caused the apocalypse is what you mean to say.
Yeah, I guess that is what I mean to say. Oops.
What the hell?
Yay!
I just want to say thank you, Mercs of Mischief and Dice Tyrants, for the raids. Welcome, everybody.
Hello.
Hope you're enjoying. We are chatting now with the cast of Pirates of Salt Bay, one of our D&D shows here on Saving Throw Show. We finished season 2. We're about to start season 3 next week, and so we're having a little chat back.
Oh no!
Yeah, you gotta get working. Okay.
Oops.
You better work, bitch.
Philly cheesesteak has a question.
I pictured a sentient Philly
Sandwich?
cheesesteak.
Yeah.
I'm a good sandwich.
Also with a character sheet.
Listen, you don't know Philly. Philly could be a
I
sandwich.
know Phil. I know Phil. It's a good
cheesesteak to you, a Mr. Cheesesteak to you.
Mr. Cheesesteak.
For the players, is this the first time in a campaign that you've had PC, I think, VER, I don't know what that means. PC.
Or are they trying to say vor?
PC ver PC romantic relationships? And if not, can the more experienced players explain the dynamic between player and character when it comes to those kinds of relationships?
Yeah, Terry and I like to practice kissing off stream.
Pretty
Before,
much all the
during,
time,
and after. They're always going at it.
Why do you
Yeah,
think
we
we had to get breaks in season 2?
Oh my God. Wow. Well, y'all are all hot trash mess, and I love it so much. So much. I'm trying to think. Have I had a romance in another game? Yeah, I did. I did actually with the Bria before. I think I had, but they weren't romances. I played Dungeons and Dragons before with the Bria. It's not my first Dungeons and Dragons. That's despite how it looks on the internet.
Oh, hush!
I've been playing D&D for some years now. I think it's just, you sometimes you get stuck playing the same. I played a lot of the same types of characters, so playing something that's not anything that I normally play, I don't know any. I was like, oh, I can do way more damage now. I usually do not play this type of character, so it's been really fun. I played a character that was a player before, that hooked up a lot with a bunch of other characters in another game, because she was like sexy and sassy. This is like literally the opposite. Playing a really reluctant little man who does not know when to shut up. So
we love you.
It's different. It's been different. It's been really thank you. I love you too, but it's been so different and really fun because he is a very different wheelhouse than I've normally played in D&D by far. So
yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say that's not something I've ever done in a campaign before. And I think that with this one, I don't think any of us intended at the start of this series that having 4 players at the table that meant that 2 and 2 would pair off, Like, I don't think that's a dynamic that anyone intentionally tried to steer towards. And okay, Abria disagrees.
No,
Abria was all shipping.
Liar.
We are all on a ship.
But it's been really interesting to see also how that's obviously affected storylines for season 2, but it hasn't affected like the group dynamic veering off and being just those 2 separating all the time. And that's something that I really enjoy, seeing play out is it hasn't affected the group dynamic that much, which I think is nice to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I haven't ever played a character before that's had any kind of romantic entanglements.
Same. To piggyback on that, I like that. Yeah, it doesn't change like our characters in a lot of ways. Like, I mean, it changes our characters obviously, but like when Eosh is being an idiot and Dirty Hank yells at Eosh, Addie doesn't go, "Stop yelling at my husband." She's like, "Yeah, you're being an idiot." But yeah, I've not. This is the first foray into player character relationships and stuff like that, because normally I play characters that I'm like, no one will ever want to date this person. I'm gonna be the weird homeless guy or a really old man or like.
I mean, to be fair, Dirty Hank was pretty close to that at the start of the show too.
Fact.
It just worked out nicely, I guess. Dirty Hank, I have a very hard time remembering that at the start of the show, that was kind of the start of the tots, was like these neighborhood kids would like clean Hank up when he was too drunk and they would spot him around town and stuff.
Yeah,
I always forget that.
I think Ghost of Saltmarsh literally opened with Dirty Hank waking up in like a barn covered in manure.
Yep.
That is true.
Yeah, and like the kids like were taught to check all the barns in the morning and clean them off.
Yeah.
Just hose him off a little bit. Make sure he's not face down because that can get bad.
Drowning in horse dung.
Make sure the nipples are covered because the nopes swoop in the morning.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, those early morning
those
nippy
nopes.
nopes.
Yep.
You hate to see it.
Hate to see it. Can I actually give you guys a shout out though? I am very, very impressed with the way you guys have managed your relationships. I think in games and like fiction in general, it's usually like the most interesting thing is like the will they, won't they? And by the time you like get to that and resolve it, it can be kind of weird. Like you hope to like end with that, so then you don't have to like deal with what comes next. But you guys have managed in your own ways to like to manage and to show the like what comes next and how to like be in interesting relationships that aren't like arcs only about that. Like it's really cool to watch, and I'm like very impressed by all of you.
I mean, we're busy with so many other things. So it's like, well, like it's like dealing with real life where, you go home to your spouse or whatever, but during the day, you're like got all these other things that are going on. We're dealing with like this crazy guy, Hadal or whatever. And,
or whatever.
It's a lot.
Because you see that.
I think,
thank God for the nanny.
Praise be to the nanny.
Yeah.
Someone is shipping Tristan and Fair Juliet.
Honestly, would watch.
I was gonna say, Fair Juliet would get it.
I knew you were a ship smoocher. I knew it.
Listen,
shippers out there.
If you and that boat want to be together, just go right ahead. I guess.
They're gonna be boning.
But I totally agree with Abria that it can not only from a narrative standpoint, but just from like a player dynamic standpoint, it can kind of get weird after something like that. I've done romantic like stuff or like role play in the past, and I think one of the important things is you really have to trust the other person, because I think it's really important that they know like your boundaries, like, okay, how far do you want to take this romantic thing? Like, is it like, we make guys and flirt at each other sometimes in the game, or like, do we physically touch in the game, or and setting those like boundaries and making sure nothing's ever crossed, especially in a game that's broadcasted to other people. What you might be comfortable with at a home game private space table. It's not necessarily something you'd be comfortable role playing out in front of 100 people. Just depending on who you are and how you feel about your characters and the other person as a human. So yeah, I think my advice would be maybe don't get into it unless you really know the other person well, you really trust the other person, and you've had like proper communication about where it's going and what it is and what it means and what all the lines are. Because yeah, I think that stuff, like as much as like we don't want role play to like leach into our real lives, like I think it does ultimately at some point like affect our emotions, or like can sort of like can leak into other aspects of our life. And I think it would really suck if like, I don't know, it affected your relationship with another person IRL because of like it wasn't taken seriously or went too far or XYZ in the third. So be careful, be mindful.
I also think the
yeah.
nice thing to remember is just because, like, even if you have done all of those steps and you're on the same page with each other, just because it's something the characters are going through doesn't mean it has to be the main focus, like we were talking about earlier. Like, when I think about it, I think all season long, we haven't had a single instance where like Hank or Trislan have actually spoken to each other about the fact that their relationship changed. I think the most that happens is like if one of them grabs food, they silently bring back more for the other one and they kind of look out for each other more.
Right.
But just like you can have that development between those characters without needing to draw attention to it and being overt, and it can be subtext and be something that shapes their emotional growth without it needing to be like show don't tell, you know?
Yeah, and I think that's something great about both the relationships we have developed in the show is that they're not really like, they're not traditional relationships. They're not not stereotypical, but like, I don't know, like CW romances, you know, they're not big and dramatic and huge. They're very like nuanced and have very unique and varying dynamics. It's not all like honeymoon stage or you know, lovers quarrel or something like that. Like it kind of, it's, I think they both have like a give and take to them that is not taking up a lot of space in the story overall.
I'd say it like the difference is there's in sitcoms, there's the couple that gets together in the sitcom and they always get divorced later on because, you know, that's the story that happens. They have to get, you know, it gets big and then it has to go somewhere. But the people that start a sitcom married, stay married the entire time and have interesting relationships. So ours is more like the couples that were already married when the sitcom started.
Yeah.
Totally. And with love, lots of love and respect.
Cool. And that's our show. Thank you very much. No, I'm just kidding.
You get 3 more of those. And
We
then
have to go to Farscape. Hurry up.
DJ Regular asks for Abria. You
Oh.
often jokingly, or maybe not so jokingly, prod the players to make choices that aren't optimal for their characters, but could be interesting or advantageous for roleplay. How do you temper the desire to do that with what might be in keeping with a player's character, or avoid heading into antagonistic DM territory?
Ooh. I think I'm always terrified that I'm an antagonistic DM. The moment as a dungeon master, you like take on a big bad that like appears often, it feels like if I had like a little like player tag under it, it would probably be Hadal because that's the person that I've inhabited the most on there. So I guess I'm always a little bit worried about it. But when usually when I'm prodding them to make suboptimal choices, that is a very big like wink to probably the best table of players I've ever been with and definitely ever run for. So sorry, everyone else I've ever run for. These guys are incredible. And I actually don't ever feel the need to like pressure them to make a choice because I think they need to make a more interesting choice. It's usually just telegraphing like Hadal is bad and tries to be convincing. Like, I don't think any of it is taken with any sense of like, well, boy, gee, I wish they would do this, because a lot of like the really good beats are stuff that they like pick up themselves. And I'm usually like a half a step behind them, just kind of like piggybacking and heightening what they're already doing and what they're already telegraphing to me. So I don't know if that like answered the question at all. It's also fun to just be mean to them because I like them a bunch.
Well, I will say from the player's side, I never feel like Abria's like, you have to choose this. It's like, it always feels like I make a decision and then Abria as Hadal is like, well, what if this? Like, you don't have to take this, but what if this opportunity presents itself? And you're like, that's a great opportunity. Like, I know I'm going to pay for this, but what is the risk of that? Ugh.
I like the prodding.
It always feels very clear that it's through the voice of Hadal and not through Abria. It never feels like Abria as a DM is like, I selfishly would like to see a wild card thrown into the mix. So like make a different choice. It feels like the voice like the character is hearing that, not the player is hearing that, you know? And I think that's what the differentiation is for me. It never feels like you're trying to steer the story outside of what our characters would do. You are playing another character, introducing, you know, an apple of temptation.
Yeah.
And I think if there's any other, like, sorry, if there's one more thing to like throw in there as like a DM offering new choices, usually what I'm trying to do if I ever offer them like, oh, but it could work, is me offering like as a DM, like, I know you think that there's really only one way this thing could go, but like, here's a means by which you could just kind of take the logic of the game off the rails a little bit in order to be successful. It's like offering a rule of cool. And it's just like, yeah, okay, we both know that was a low roll and you're trying to do this thing. So how do we make it work if you really want it to? And then I'll like bank, it's a lot like PBTA. So like I'll bank a hard move for later on in like via Hadal. But like if you really want to do this thing, like I'm trying to make it known that it's possible to do so. At a cost.
Yeah. And Abria's also really good at checking in later if anything feels like it was like at all anything strange, or if she feels like it got pushed. I love that. You're always really good about safety in a game. And I always feel really protected. And that if I do make some crazy ass choice, you're going to be like, support it. Let's push it and make it happen. And if it feels like it was wacky or weird in any shape or form, you always are great to check in and make sure. So you guys don't, there's a whole game that happens outside of the game, really, you guys, like of like us thinking about it and planning as well too, and getting support from our studio. So thanks, guys. You guys all make it really safe.
I was going to say you saying that brought up the fact that I remember when you even had just introduced Hadal, you said to me outside of one of the episodes, you were like, if that opportunity presents itself within the narrative, is that an avenue you're comfortable exploring, or is that a storyline you'd rather stray away from? Does it make you uncomfortable to have Trislan go down that path? And that was something that I loved, because you weren't saying, I'm going to do this, you cool. You were like, if that were to happen naturally, if it came up, is that something that you're prepared to take on? Do you feel comfortable at the table taking on a role that might be darker than what you had envisioned when you built this character? And I loved that, because if that had just been sprung on me at the table, I think I would have had a hard time making that decision on the spot. And it made it so I could more naturally make those choices in the moment, because I had already thought through pros and cons for the character. And so I definitely second what Terry's saying of like, I really appreciate that there's nothing that we do that we don't feel comfortable with, you know? I just love you, okay?
I love you!
Same.
Much. I love you guys so much.
I'm just thinking like when Dirty Hank smashed that lantern, I feel like I surprised Abria. Like she's like destroy it. I was like, okay, and she's like, oh god, he actually did it. Oh, what do I do?
I had a contingency plan and I had to pull it out of my notes. I'm like, he won't. Oh god, bluff called. Where's the doc? Where's the doc?
Hank will always yes and for sure.
So good. It's my favorite. You guys are all like super good about that, by the way. It's really, really, really cool. It's just like, here's a little sea salt. Oh my God, they grew it into a plant and the plant is cooler than I expected. I'll catch up. This is fine. Like my favorite thing as a DM is to run home after like a week. I get home at like 11:30, 12, and probably stay up till 2 o'clock, just like taking notes and trying to figure out like chasing what you guys thought was interesting and like trying to like develop that more, because
my god,
I think the cool part of this game is
I want to read it.
I was gonna say no, we don't deserve a Bria. No one deserves.
I don't deserve you. I am just chasing you guys, like
that's
just
not
throw,
true
like
in the
eating
slightest.
stuff in front of you.
I was talking about this during Sea of Thieves, like the fact that like we'll have like that lantern thing was literally you just like you get one magical item, and I was like, I don't want like a staff that makes me good at punching or whatever. I'm gonna get a ghost lantern because I think that's silly, and then you made it a plot point.
Like I said, just eating plot ahead of you. You guys make cool choices, and I just want to make sure the game is as cool as you guys are.
Well, that's easy when you're as cool as you
Stop
are.
it. Let me win I will.
No.
Can I just please? No.
Oh,
Vanna, I will smooch your face after licking this pen.
Okay,
I'll do it.
well, Terry and I have a schedule, so let me see if I can pencil you in.
You know what? I'll add it to my decal. It's fine.
we've been making out a lot.
We had to practice. We had to
Hold
give
on.
you character.
What is this?
Yeah, we all have our own ways of getting into character. They've been making out for weeks now. I've just been binge drinking, blacking out constantly, waking up places.
Oh my God, you guys! I
adopted 17 children.
I'll be back.
I was gonna say Negs has just been licking everything.
I lick a lot of blood and feed children dips. So who got the short end of the stick here?
We're method actors, and you will respect us.
Next question. Nadia says and asks, when does Trislan's menagerie open?
It's open, baby.
It's open. It's just invite only.
You know what would be cute? Can all the animals fit in Hank's greenhouse?
Probably.
If they were all just like chilling in there, it was like a little animal menagerie terrarium.
It would be like the butterfly part of the Animal Crossing Museum, you know, with plants everywhere and them just chilling. I actually really like that Trislan is, I think she's weirdly using animals as like an emotional placeholder for processing her feeling about the tots and kids in general. I think if all these little animals had been there in like the mini series that we did when it was Salt Marsh, I don't think she would have taken to them the way she has now.
Right.
I think it's like misplaced instincts of wanting to make up for not caring for things and then realizing she regrets that a little bit. So I think these animals are going to become even more of her babies as she kind of goes through that emotional process. I personally, in the back of my mind, love the idea of Rose growing up, and Trislan's only way of bonding with her is like taking her to see the animals, and she doesn't really know how to interact with kids outside of like, here's something
like
I know.
True aunt.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'll take you to the zoo because I don't know how to talk to you. And I really love that idea of like that's her way to connect emotionally with other people, especially kids, is through animals. I think it's going to be a big thing in like opening up her emotions.
I think you play that really well too. I think that totally reads. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's really good.
So I'm excited for her to hopefully add to the menagerie. And I would love there to be some way that she can, like, her animal handling isn't naturally a very high skill for her. So I love the idea of her actually getting to like study that moving forward and actually having a hobby she's interested in outside of stabbing things.
Wait, multi-classes druid or
honestly, like I rolled a druid for the subathon that we did because I've been regretting not playing a druid the past couple weeks. I'm like, oh, there's so much to like about that
class.
Multi-class.
Just do what I do. Radically change the direction of your character and just tell Abria the 5 minutes before the show.
Fine.
I'll do that with this. Thank you for the tip.
Speaking of which, you guys all leveled up at the end of the last episode.
Hey!
So level your characters and pick a single skill to be proficient in.
I'm writing on my hand level.
Yeah. Oh no, I'll send you an email later, Terry. It's fine.
It's gonna work.
I don't trust
everything
that.
I put right there.
Email.
I don't know. I don't check them or get them, so it's fine.
Serious Wolf asks, is there something special or a reasoning that inspired your characters, especially Addie and Trislan, if not everyone can answer, but everyone can answer. So is there something special or reasoning that inspired your characters?
Oh no, I was gonna say my answer is lame, so someone else go first.
Oh no, I want to hear that lame sauce. I want to hear that.
No, I want to hear because Havana has like a cool like actual pirate history answer, and mine is embarrassing.
Well, that's the whole story though, so I want to hear yours. I want to hear yours.
Mine's embarrassing. Please don't make fun of me, but my guilty pleasure trash TV show that I watched when I first, if y'all did not know, I injured my spine about 7 years ago. And when I was put on disability, I needed a show to like binge watch while I was just immobilized. And I watched Once Upon a Time. And we haven't gotten into Tristlan's backstory yet, so I don't want to say which character it is because there's definitely something from that show that inspired. I pictured the backstory of that character.
It's Hook. It's Hook.
I'm not saying who it is, okay?
It's Hook.
And I kind of extrapolated it, and I was like, if you put the layer of being a tiefling onto that backstory, like how would that play out within this world? What would that person grow up to look like? And please, nobody make fun of me for the fact that Tristlan is inspired by my guilty pleasure TV show. But
I love that beyond words. It is amazing.
Thank you. So once we've learned more about her, it'll be very obvious who it is, but just putting it out there. But I want to hear yours now, because Savannah, yours is like cool and well researched, and mine is not.
It's not like a long story. It's just she like Addie is super heavily based on Anne Bonny, who was an actual lady pirate back in the day, and her like dad, her father was like, I think, a single dad, and used to dress her as a boy so that he could or she could work at his law firm. And it sort of just like seeped into like how she lived her life moving forward. And then she like she got married, and after she got married, she fell in with pirates and left her husband and became like a pirate, and often disguised herself as a man so that she wouldn't be like singled out. I don't know. That is the whole story, really.
Yeah, it's like even like she was arrested, put on trial, and was sentenced to hang, but they were waiting for her to give birth, and then when she gave birth, she snuck out of prison.
Yeah, and that's part of Addie's background too, is that she gave her husband got killed, and she gave birth to her first child in prison, and that was her reason for abandoning it. So, because they were going to take better care of it in prison than her on the lam.
So dope. That's awesome. Those are both good answers.
Yeah.
Wait, I was going to say, I'm really curious about, I've always wondered about Eoj. Where did Eoj come from?
I honestly, who knows? Who knows? I really don't think that hard. You guys, I'm like the worst prepared person when it comes to like games. I'm literally the person at the table who's like, all right, what you all got? And I will like easily try to just fit something that's different than whatever else everyone else is doing. And that's kind of my like yes and improv background, I guess, from the theater. And also I just love to play, and I just like to hang out and make up stuff with my friends. And I love to make up stories my whole life. And this is a great opportunity to do that. I don't honestly remember if I had a lot of thoughts about it. I love pirate things. I've always loved pirate things since I was a kid. I love like Pirates of the Caribbean, Disney, and all that kind of good stuff. A pirate movie, as Dom and I have both commiserated over, and like we love this really shitty movie from the 80s that is literally one of my weird like things that I rented so many times from the Video Dollar Day in my hometown, their little video store. And
what's the movie?
It's called The Pirate Movie.
It's literally called The Pirate Movie.
It's the name of the movie. It's The Pirate Movie. And if you see like the black pirate, there's like one black pirate out of like a gaggle of all the pirates. Kind of, that's what like one of the pictures I sent, I think, for like looking at the character is kind of this guy. You don't get a lot about him because they don't focus a lot on black pirates, even though they call people black whatever all the time. They're not usually black playing the pirate. So it's just was a fun amalgamation of a bunch of different things, and choosing different types of backgrounds and types in class and race and all that stuff in D&D that I don't normally play. So I like trying new things. That's basically what it is. And I like good characters often have weird oppositions about them, and that's what I think what makes really strong characters. So like, the fact that he's like, good at fighting, but he's also like really sensitive, I think is hilarious and makes for good interactions and tough choices, because he wants to be nice and do good things, but he also wants to kick ass. So there's always that,
same.
Right? Relate, right? So
it was just so relatable.
So so there's a lot in that, and so I think it's just a combination of what I know about story building and as a person who writes things and as a person who's acted in a lot of different things. putting that together. So
Nice.
yeah.
Dirty Hank.
Hank.
Yeah, I mean, I've mentioned this before in like when we were playing Sea of Thieves. Literally, the idea for Dirty Hank came because when Sea of Thieves was launched, me and my friends decided to play it together and kind of role play while we played it. And they all had characters. Like one of them was like, my character is like a former British, like captain, and it's like my seasoned pirate. And they all did these pirate voices, and I was like, that's boring to me. I'm gonna just grab the schlubbiest looking dude, and his name is Hank. And then I'm just calling him Dirty Hank, and I just went around and go, "Oh, that seems fair, Captain. I'll just go that, yeah." And then that was the kernel of the idea for Dirty Hank. Is like, I already got a pirate character, and this is only 3 episodes, so don't think too hard about it. And then I've realized recently that I think that Dirty Hank shifted over the course of like between the miniseries to the first season, because I was playing Red Dead, so I'm just doing Arthur Morgan, but what if he were a dirty pirate? Because like the voice and everything, the way he acts, he's like, I'm not a good man, I try, but
Nice.
Serious Wolf, my soup was very nice. Thank you very much. I had a good day. For everyone, if you could pick a special pet to have with you during next season, what would it be? What would be its unique skill, ability, or trait? Yes, even Trislin, who has 281 pets.
I mean, I know exactly what I want. I forget what it's called, but there is it's a D&D magic item. It's a keg with like spider legs that can follow you around.
That sounds amazing. I feel like I want a turtle. I don't know why that was the first thing that popped in my head.
Eo's just such a turtle kid. Absolutely.
I like turtles.
Yeah, I feel like he would get along very well with like a turtle. It could be a sea turtle, it could be a land turtle, doesn't matter. I think he'd be really happy either way.
I think I'm picturing like a little ferret or a weasel or something that's like missing an eye. Because they're so slinky and they can just like crawl all over you, but they're soft, so like the baby would like it. Something like that.
Look at you thinking about the baby. I love it.
Of course I'm thinking about the baby.
I think Trislin would either go for something that's actually based in the water. So something that can be like a creature that she has some kind of link to so they can communicate, but that resides in the water and never actually stays on the ship. Just
a magical Lisa Frank dolphin that tells you you're doing great.
I didn't want to say that, but that's exactly what I want. I want a magical Lisa Frank dolphin, mostly because it's like everyone else this season, it's like you can fly and like you just peace out. Addie can walk on water. Like everyone has this way to move throughout the water without the help of a ship, and Trislin definitely doesn't. And so I think she likes the idea of having something that actually connects her to the water in a different way, or a hedgehog. And that's it.
I think they float.
There you go. I think she just likes the idea of having something that is like cute on the inside, but if you try to touch it and it's not prepared,
the metaphors keep coming
and hits. Yeah, I think she relates to that. So I think she'd like a little hedgehog.
Keep coming.
Okay, so Hank gets a daddy long kegs. Addie gets a long mouse.
Kegs.
Trislin gets a supportive neon dolphin. Eos gets a terrapin, but I didn't have time to write it backwards to spell it like he spells his name.
Oh,
It's a backwards turtle.
Yeah.
Got it. Done.
All right. That concludes the subscriber / Patreon backer questions. Now we move on to other questions. This is from formerly Alex the Designer, now Alex Wyckoff. Hello. Do any of the cast need equipment to safely and productively work from home for the duration, like a green screen, a better router, Blue Yeti, mic cam?
Oh.
If so, can we do a fundraiser for them? No need to say if you need it right now, but if you need it, they are willing to fundraise for you.
Thank you.
That's so sweet.
That is very nice.
My heart.
I was just saying how I needed a green screen before we started this because I want a dope background too, and I was trying to do one, but they were like, "Your computer does not support a blah blah blah." I was like, "Oh, I thought I updated my OS, but not quite. Maybe I need to reload Zoom."
Probably.
Yeah, I think I had to like go and manually install an update or something.
Same.
Probably.
It's probably not your computer.
Yeah.
All good. But yeah, that's amazing. That's so sweet.
This is just my wall. This is what my wall looks like.
Okay.
Hey,
Yeah.
Abria.
Yeah, I'm
why
just
do
in my
you
basement.
lie so much?
I'm just in my basement.
I live inside the Moulin Rouge.
Oh my God, that would be
Come what may.
Come what may.
Rhaegor412 asks, during a Sea of Thieves pre-show stream, I mentioned a possible plot option for Addie and a lighthouse higher up. Is that still a possibility? I don't remember this. Eric, do you remember this?
No.
I'm going to guess it's not a possibility.
Yeah.
In a lighthouse higher up? What does that mean?
Becoming like a lighthouse person?
Yeah. Is it just? Are we just
you
gonna
would
play?
look good in a sweater.
Yeah. Are we just gonna play out the tabletop version of The Lighthouse starring Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson? Because I'm down for that.
God.
That movie's
Would
great.
watch.
Oh, it was for your kid, Rhaegor says.
What?
Rhaegor, can you
Just explain it again.
Yeah, can you
Is this a very special episode that we're looking forward to? Because I would watch that.
Should my child own a lighthouse? I don't understand what's happening.
Just stay there.
Yeah, let's abandon the child at a lighthouse.
Yeah.
That seems fun.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at abandoning kids at this point.
Yeah.
So.
What I'm hearing is you want me to turn Taika into a lighthouse. Got it.
Kinda already is a lighthouse.
I'm just saying, she's one upgrade away from just having a big flashlight on her forehead.
Oh, one of Addie's kids is a higher up in the Candlekeep Lighthouse.
Ooh.
Oh, like one of the older kids from your past, like
that's fun.
Discovering them there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
she uses the light to look for her mom all the time. Oh,
it would be a little, I think, a little too like plot smushy for it to be like, okay, we're all there, and my daughter that we know about is there, and then also my other kid we don't know about
all
is there.
17 of your children, none of which knew each other were there.
Remember, Dirty, I believe it was in like the, was it the first season or was it in like the mini series where we're like, is Dirty Hank one of Addie's kids?
I don't remember.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
It was like,
why did we think that?
Well, because just because it didn't work out age-wise, but it was like he's like, my family abandoned me, and you were like, I abandoned everyone, and they're like, oh, what if
that was a thought.
I'm sure I'm the only one who's ever abandoned anyone in that universe. I'm positive of it. I'm sure I didn't learn it from anyone doing it to me or anything. I'm sure no one else in this party has ever abandoned a child before.
That we know of.
Eoj.
Why is everybody looking at me?
We're not.
Tristan
just won't make eye contact with any of us.
I feel like we're in the Brady Bunch, though. I don't know which way to look. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, you have to look like
who abandoned
left
me?
and up a bit.
Who abandoned
left and
me?
straight above. Yeah.
Who abandoned me?
Happy birthday, everyone!
Boy.
Let's see. Choviksani asked, how many of you have actually eaten a Philly cheesesteak?
No, thank you.
Many
I'm
times.
lactose intolerant.
I have.
I'm vegan.
I did.
I shouldn't have eaten it, but
I had it in Philadelphia, but it was like catered and tiny and probably not great.
Oh no!
Oh, I watched you eat that. Does that count?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, I've seen
You should
Eric eat
not
one.
have
Because we
eaten
didn't
a
have anyone else to
cheesesteak.
talk to, so we just stood by there and you watched me eat cheesesteak.
I ate old pizza.
I also had one in Philadelphia, and it was very good.
Can I just say stories of your friendship like fucking destroy me? It's very good.
We went to a fancy party full of people that we were supposed to network with, and instead we talked to the people we were staying with for 5 minutes, and then I ate some cheesesteak, and then we left.
I think I had a tummy ache or something.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was physically unwell at that event.
Oh my.
What a time.
Uh, questions are open for chat. If anyone has any additional questions, we will take them
Throw
now.
it at us.
Yeah.
Don't throw it. Gently toss it. Underhand pitch.
Oh, can
Yeah.
I ask something while we wait for questions to come
only
in?
one thing.
Oh, only one. Okay. I was just curious because I know Eric said that he was like, oh, it's only 3-episode miniseries, so I'll just reuse this character. If y'all had known going into this that it wasn't a miniseries and that we were going to be doing this for multiple seasons, would you have done anything different with your character, like when creating them before the show started?
I would have thought about it maybe a little more.
No, because I knew it was going to be a show.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
With how amazing the cast is and how amazing Abria is as a GM, if Dom didn't pick us up for like a full show, he'd be a ding dong dummy pants.
Yeah, I mean,
Amanda, please start with inspiration next season.
I'd be lying if I didn't already kind of know that this was going to be the new D&D show. Like, it was just kind of like, let's run this for 3 episodes to see if we all think it's going to go as well as we think it is. But I probably wouldn't have, because I found that I don't like thinking real hard about characters. I like approaching it very simply. I don't like thinking very hard. I've had this before where I think of backstories and I was like, I can't play a backstory. I can play a character, I can play a voice and then develop it. But because I think like with the first campaign of Iron Keep, I had a more developed character, which I don't feel like played very much. And the second campaign, I had just a silly voice and I turned it into a character, and I was like, I like that more. I like starting from just like a solid foundation and then building on it, instead of like, here's like all my backs, because you can't play that. You can only play what's in front of you.
Do you feel like that's due to like your background as like an improviser, or do you just think that's sort of okay? I
think I just threw too much at it. Like I was like, I need to have everything to breathe life into this character.
Right.
And I don't. Like with improv, it's the easier you make it on yourself and the audience to understand your character, the easier it is to develop it.
Right. And so much influence happens along the way from the GM and the other players and like the events you go through. It's like you could spend a lot of time writing up a thing and it definitely could come into play, but it also will probably not stay exactly the same. That seems very unlikely.
Right. Staying nimble is, I think, super important. I know sometimes we get married to our ideas and then it's like it's going to get all blown up anyway, depending on what's like getting thrown at us along the way. I like being able to be agile and get to move and flow with the story. In my mind, I say I would have prepared more. We know I wouldn't have. So Bria knows. We play other games together too. I know. I love you so much. But it's like, because even at 12-sided too, we have all these other things that we've done together on Happy Decks. We played all over, I feel like, the internet's now together. And it's like, I just really love getting into a good story and being present in the moment, because there's so many magical things that can happen when you're willing to just be present with the game and not worrying about trying to sneak something in or something. Sometimes it's nice if you do have some sort of idea of like, okay, there is something I would like to land on or something I'd like to make sure I bring up. But
like,
you
I think
can't,
bullet points are better than
it's
like
an
a 10-page
outline.
essay.
Yeah, it's an outline. And like even running the one shot for you guys, I like wrote a page and a half of like really great story. It was fun. I had like, locations and NPCs, and I was like, nope, not going to do pretty much any of those things. I got the first paragraph out and the rest was a whole nother show, which is great. And Bria got to see the whole thing. She's like, oh, this is great. And I was like, okay, great. Not what we ended up doing, like really at all, but it was so fun. And it didn't matter because we ended up, still building a story together and having a good time. And that's like what matters. So.
Talking to myself 13 asks, did Eric come up with Hank's backstory, or was it revealed to him the same way it was to everyone else?
I came up with Hank's backstory about I would say 4 days before that, because me and Abria got dinner before we did New Pantheon, and we said, let's get dinner and talk about Dirty Hank's backstory. I was like, cool, I'll come up with one. So I did that, and then we met, had dinner, and then because just everyone got stuck in voting and we had to like call an audible on the show, it focused a lot more on the backstory that we discussed. But yeah, I purposely have not been planning. Like I had like one or two things, like vague ideas about his story, but I didn't really come up. with a solid backstory. And even now, I don't have a solid backstory. I have like a couple of bullet points that I've told Abria, and I'm letting Abria kind of run with it and figure out what it actually means when she decides it needs to be in the story.
Just to say, it's not that I have like a ton of shit written out. There's like a loose outline, and then it will get curved to like whatever suits like whatever plot we come up with together. So sorry, I just want to say I don't have like fucking binders and stuff in the background.
I don't believe you.
I don't believe it. You also have like a really encyclopedic brain, so I'm sure it's like the binders are right here. Catalog.
It's full of women. It's just you three.
Binders full of women. I see you.
We love a good Mitt Romney joke in 2020. Let's go.
Junk Garage asks a question for Niggs. Now that Hank has revealed his real name, has Trislan told him her virtue name?
No, not yet. No. I think it's kind of counterintuitive for her to reveal personal information to somebody she wants to keep in her life.
Hi, that was too real.
Yeah,
oh my God.
I genuinely think that she would fear anyone learning too much about who she really is. And so the last person she would want to give identifying information to would be the person that she wants to stick around and to
God,
you know.
we do need frickin' our ship to become a therapist is what we
yeah.
need.
yeah.
See?
Because it's funny because like Trislan like has all this information that she doesn't want to let out, and Hank doesn't know. Like this is him remembering things about his past, so it's like she won't tell and he can't tell, so they don't know anything about each other.
Or write it down for that matter.
It's nice because it's like they know who the person is now. They don't know who the other person was before. And
I mean, it doesn't matter according to Backstreet Boys, right?
Exactly.
I don't care who you are. Where you're from.
They have not unlocked this.
You've done.
They have not unlocked this.
You love me.
I will
Regular. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I know it though. Like I have it in my little back pocket, but
Yeah.
DJ Regular asks, for everyone, if you could take this cast of characters into a setting that didn't involve the high seas and piracy, what would it be?
Let me cut you off right there. This one barely involves the high seas, so fuck off.
So
Sorry.
fuck off.
I'm kidding.
I want them to have a day at Disneyland. I want them to do theme parks. I want
We did that.
No, I'm saying like literally.
We went to
literally.
that terrible theme park. We want to go. Next wants us to go to a good theme park.
I want like an actual like I want to see Hank get blasted at overpriced cocktails that they only sell you a handful of. I want to see Eoj try and get Addie to like pose for photos that Addie doesn't want to pose for. I want to see
music
Trislan,
video.
Yeah, get really attached to like merchandise stuffed animals that she probably shouldn't bring home with her, and I want to see them all take a Splash Mountain photo together.
Oh my God.
Wait,
That's my like imaginary dream episode.
Oh,
Well, I
can
think
we
it's
do
great.
a fundraiser for like a one shot of Happiest Apocalypse on Earth that's just completely like AU?
Sure, why not? I think what's great about like none of our characters are traditional pirate characters. Like none of us go "Yar, matey," and you know, like and do all this. We're all just playing really interesting characters that could exist in any. And like we could be in space, we could be in World War I, we could be in anywhere really.
Brie and I don't like sci-fi, so please.
What if it's got puppets? What if it's got lifelike puppets that make you cry?
Okay.
Hey,
Yep.
I got weirded out at lifelike.
Yeah.
I'm just
Well,
saying they have that at Disneyland, so my answer covers all.
animatronics. Let's do
He
it.
makes a point.
They have space at Disneyland.
Base and
Ooh.
tiki
You can avoid
rooms.
it. It's fine. Yeah, I want Trislan to get a Dole Whip, okay?
Oh, I want a Dole Whip.
We all want
She
a Dole
would
Whip
lick
right
it
now.
off her tail like it's a little spork.
Yeah,
I can so hard as yeah.
Trislan would use her tail
my
to
God.
steal like cotton candy from children
I
and
think
keep going.
I see Hank like in the
Yes.
Dole Whip line by the tiki room, and then Tristan going, "What are you, an idiot? Just go around the corner. There's no line. There's no line if you go around
Yeah.
the corner."
Go into the tiki room
Go
and you can get it.
inside.
No problem.
Yep.
They
Yeah.
walk up and Addie already has like 4 that she's holding and like trying to fit her whole mouth over.
Perfect.
Oh, they've got Dole Whip. Have you had this stuff? It's interesting.
Rose has a meltdown at 3 p.m. like all children do.
Oh,
Okay.
Ika's
can
gotta
we
go walk the
please?
baby around. Oh.
Rose has
You will
little
find me at
ears.
Mr. Link, Great Moments of Mr. Lincoln all the time.
It's closed like the past 3 times I've been there.
Oh, it's my favorite place to take a nap in the park.
It is really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's solid nap territory.
Upsetting.
Uh-huh.
That and the back row of the tiki room, man. You get on one of those benches by yourself.
That's like loud. It's a loud space.
Yeah, but when it's like raining and stuff, it all
Yeah.
I love it. Oh, I sleep to that.
I feel like I want to tell the police about this.
I have never wanted to go to Disneyland so bad.
Wait. My friends and I actually watched like on YouTube. We watched the Tiki Room last weekend because we were like, we got to go to Disney, and so we like. turned on the
See, Terry, we were
Nice.
talking about that on Twitter.
Yeah, we legit did that. We were like,
Yep.
okay, we went like we also like ended up like watching a lot of the ride videos. Like
Yeah, I
from,
just
like,
watched the
Tokyo Disney to like Euro Disney and everything.
I watched the
Yeah.
Shanghai Pirates of the Caribbean, and it's so much better than
Yeah.
all
Oh,
the
I watched
yeah,
that
I
one
wanna-
too.
I want to do that.
Good. It's so good.
Oh.
The bit where it goes backwards into the pirate ship and then you see Jack fighting in the background. Oh my god. I was sitting.
Oh my God, we're
It's
going
unreal.
to Shanghai.
It is-
So what we're
As soon
raising
as
money for right
possible.
now is a Pirates of Salt Bay trip to Shanghai.
Yeah. Oh my
Okay,
God.
great.
We'll ride
great.
Pirates of the Caribbean together.
Get us
That's all
there,
we
chat.
do.
Yeah.
Fly back.
Alex Wyckoff asks, for those of you who have tried the Kids on Bikes system, are there any aspects of it you'd wish to port into Salt Bay?
Ooh.
Ooh. I've done it, but I'll let someone else.
And well, Bria,
Oh,
you're the
next year
you're the
too.
professional.
Yeah, you
Next
did.
done it too.
Yeah, the two of you have done it.
Okay, well, for those of you who don't know, just as a quick, it is, so there's only 6 stats. Everything has a single die type attached to it, and the DM gives the threshold for success. So if you're like, I want to punch a dude in the face, like roll your fight. The difficulty is a 6. If you're rolling a d6, it's going to be probably pretty hard to do. And dice explode. And my dice are over there. It's really cool. I like this idea of exploding dice because it's a really fun momentum builder, and it makes like adjudication of like any skill or like thing you're trying to accomplish just dead simple because it's one of 6 things, and it feels really good to like compound success. So
That's why I like Savage Worlds. I haven't played it a lot, but Dom has as well. And it's a 4 is a success. So the lowest you're ever rolling is a D4. So there's always a chance for a success. But you always have a D6 as your wild die, and they explode. So it's always like you're trying to get that 4, and you can like. And sometimes it's a higher difficulty. But yeah, I love that.
I really enjoyed playing with that system for exactly what you're describing as the simplicity of, I feel like it makes it easier to kind of run wild with the role play aspect of it because it's so broad what you're doing the roles for in the first place. But personally, for what we do on the show, I actually really like the nuance of separating, like, if I'm making a roll for something, it's very clearly acrobatics. It's not just an athletics check. I'm trying to do something that falls under the smaller, more narrowed down category. Like Tristlin can be athletic, but not acrobatic. And I like that because for me personally, it's helped shape my character and her consistency by having those very, very more narrow delineations of what she is and isn't good at. That being said, I definitely miss out on a lot of things that I should be rolling for because there's so many abilities, there's so many things, so many actions and reactions and bonus actions that half the time it's not until 5 minutes after something that I go, oh, I could have used Hellish Rebuke and I didn't. I could have halved the damage there and I didn't. And so I do like that about Kids on Bikes, where it's more the instincts of you as a role player is like to describe how it would go down and then roll for it in a more simple way. But I like what we're working with personally.
Heck yeah. Also, it's surprisingly difficult in Kids on Bikes when you're the game runner to generally remember what people's like dice are in something, because you don't want to say like, okay, roll your charm, difficulty of 10, if you've forgotten that they have like a D4 in charm, because you're basically saying it's impossible. So you have to have this floating understanding of what everyone's like die like array is, and that can become a lot across like 5 players. So it's good and it's simple and it's light, but there is like some hidden complexity, at least like for as granular as D&D is with its like skills and saves and like general checks, because they're all on kind of like a generalized curve. Like I don't have to remember that like Trislin is very, very good at deception, because like everyone can kind of get there. So like setting difficulties is relatively easy when it comes to like asking people to make skill checks.
And I feel like D&D handles combat very, very well. We don't get into a ton of combat, but like whenever I play like a Powered by Apocalypse or other games, I'll be like, okay, I hit, but I don't know. I know I did damage, but I don't know what damage actually means in this. But in D&D, I was like, I did 30 points of damage. That's got to be something significant.
Yeah.
Captain Obvious asks, who would you like to have as a guest who hasn't already been on for anybody?
Oh,
Donald Glover.
Die.
I feel like he'd be super weird and I'd be very into it.
He's so weird and I love it. I was watching a stand-up special the other day and I was like, he'll never do this again because he's so weird now.
Yeah, right.
But I love it so much.
He was always weird is the thing, which is great. Oh.
He's just channeling it in a different outlet now.
Oh, yeah,
he has the success and the platform to like embrace it.
Variations of weird. Yeah.
Levels.
I will say I was really stoked to have Blue Jay fill in when I had to step out, because the only thing that bummed me about that was I didn't get to play with her, because we've never gotten to role play together before, but I think she's awesome and I was so excited that like she got to be on the show. But I would like to live in a world where she's on the show and I'm also on it one day.
Yeah.
Someone just said Dom.
Yeah, Dom.
Yeah.
So I was on the show. I played Craig, a sorcerer who tried to defend his village.
I went up
He was great.
Yeah, I went up to like go to the bathroom. I came back and Dom was in my seat.
That's
great.
amazing.
Negs and I's friend Misha Crossing. I would love to have her on because she
She's
does a home
great.
game. And I love her. I think she's a great person, a great content creator, and she's been playing in like a D&D home game a lot. So I would love to like see her with like on a broadcast, which is her, her thing, and then with a bunch of other people that are ready to support her and
she's also like she like genuinely watches the show and enjoys it. So like when I like
she's like a Salt Bay fan.
Yeah, like I'll pop in her chat to like make a joke and then she'll start talking about the episode. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
She's amazing. I would love that.
I'll make it
happen.
happen.
She's a dear.
But celebrity wise, I don't know.
I think
like
anybody.
Christian Shaw would be fun.
Yeah.
Her voices
Oh
are
my
so
God.
good. Oh
She's
my
so
God.
funny. I would love her.
So
on the show.
If Michael Robert Holmes ever gets a chance to play with us, I would love that too. I love you, Michael.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Okay. Philly cheesesteak. Can we have a nice guys dinner scene this season?
There's always time for nice guys dinner.
I have a couple notes that like get carried over from like when I copy paste from like episode to episode in my Google Doc. And nice guys dinner, the moment it was like that phrase was mentioned, I typed it in immediately, and it keeps getting like I just keep reminding myself of it because it's just one of those like amazing world building things that like fuck, it makes me so happy that it happened and that it like exists in the world. Like, please, yeah.
Right. It's funny because it's like a nice guy's dinner, but they're both murderers.
Yeah, we're not good people.
Murderers and thieves.
But we're nice.
And
We might not be good, but we're nice.
cutthroats.
We're terrible, rotten pirates, but we also really like trying bougie restaurants.
Yeah.
Bunch of foodies. Oh my God.
Sometimes we love a supper club, you know?
Cogs Clan asks, wondering, does anyone think of their characters from the beginning of it all would have ever ended up where they are now? also if they feel their character is in a good place or not.
Ooh.
I mean, I think just the voice I've been doing for Dirty Hank has changed from the beginning. It's changed, and that's like led to like also just his character, because he was a very one note like kind of joke character, like crazy hobo that drinks and punches things, and now he's like a person, like he's like a real person.
Now he's a person.
I mean, I knew that would happen. I didn't know that it would go in this direction specifically, but it's interesting to see where it goes.
I had no idea I'd have an almost wife and a family.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
That was, if you
I don't
shook the
think
crystal ball, I would not have told you that's where my character was going to end up by the end of a couple seasons.
Did you say
by any
if
means.
we shook the crystal ball? Is that what you just said?
Yeah, and I was
That's
like,
how that works. You shake that
the
good juice
ball.
up.
and you're like, oh, look into the future.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's how that works.
I mean, yeah.
Look,
Y'all are terrible psychics. I'll tell you that. Right?
That's what I'm saying. Wasn't good at it. Wasn't good at
You're
it.
proving my point, Abria. Yeah, I don't think I ever expected to play a pregnant character, period. And I don't know if I saw the relationship thing coming, and I don't know. I think Addie and Eoj's relationship still surprises me like every episode. It's a weird back and forth. It's very nuanced, and I don't know what's gonna happen.
I wouldn't have imagined any of this for a second. Like when we first started the show, it wasn't something I'd planned in advance, knowing that like the tots would be a thing. That was something that I remember we sat down at the table and you were like, what did everyone do this summer? Well, after the adventure. And I went, I had a ring of child thieves. I don't know. Like I had nothing and that just came out of my mouth. So I wouldn't have expected that. I wouldn't have expected, like, even the way season 1 went, if I'm being honest, I thought there was a good chance Tristan was either going to become the antagonist or die. Like, I really thought the Hadal thing was more of a, like, I thought she was going to commit to that and go down that path. And I really thought that the crew would, like, stop that and by any means. And so I was genuinely surprised when that didn't go that direction and that she actually kind of dialed it back. I would not have imagined any of this. This is so different from what I thought.
Yeah, I had this idea that at some point like Tristan and Hank would have to try and kill each other. Like in the first season, I was like, season finale is probably going to be the two of them like with knives about to murder each other, and it's like who's going to win this fight. Did not go that way.
Yeah, very different. And I definitely expected more of that as well. And I was very surprised that it didn't go that way at all.
It still can, you guys. You're speaking
It's not
like
too late. It's not too late.
I have
too
this
late to murder
coin.
each other.
If you want to grab this coin real quick? We can make things happen.
Wow.
What?
Is it a loony?
What?
She always pushing that. Oh, a little.
I'm always pushing that coin.
Pushing that coin. The new remix. Yamabria back, pushing that coin.
Simi David 95 asks, if there were to be a Freaky Friday like episode, which character would you like to switch with?
Oh my God, Addie and Eoj.
So awkward. I was gonna say Tristan, but yeah, an Addie Eoj switch would be god awful, but also amazing.
Oh my God.
That's so funny. I was definitely an extra in Freaky Friday, the movie, though, behind Lindsay Lohan, and like in a few of the scenes.
Heck yeah.
Very early on in my acting life. It's so funny.
Here, let me pick up that name you dropped just real quick. Here you go.
Oh
No,
my God.
an extra. Yeah, no, I was like 3 rows behind her, like in some like classroom scenes or whatever.
That counts. Close enough to get the credit, far enough that you don't like.
Yeah, I got paid.
her.
I got paid. I think I might have even been union at that point too. So who knows?
Nice.
So funny. Anyway, yeah, no, I love that. I love a Freaky Friday switch. That's funny.
I would like all of us to switch with Tristan.
Yeah,
I think we would all have a really interesting, like, I'm just thinking of like Eoj having to be Tristan for a moment, like what that would be like.
Can you imagine? Sorry.
Oops, all Trislins sounds amazing.
That sounds like the episode of The Good Place where they're
Yeah,
all...
with Janet's.
Yeah. Where it's all Trislan just being every different character.
Yes.
I'm down.
Oh, here's the plan.
That's
we
great.
get $10,000 by the end of the season. Season finale is just 5 windows of Nega Oryx playing the whole game by herself.
Honestly, absolutely here for it.
Yeah.
One day, special unlock. I'll pre-record myself playing imitations of every character interacting with each other.
Oh my god, I would watch that all day.
Nice.
On a loop.
I think all of us doing Trislan impressions though would be pretty funny.
That would also be excellent.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm here for it.
Lot
That's
of
such a
these.
deep acting ask.
Yeah.
Okay, you need to act as Addie, as if Addie were trying to be Trislan.
That's some real face-off stuff.
Oh,
It is.
Face off.
we would need to hire a director for sure. For sure.
Dom's like, I'm right here.
Yeah, we would need to hire
Nope.
someone.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but they're like someone competent, someone who knew the genre, who knew the characters.
Oh, wah, wah.
And that's game.
Oh.
Notice how I don't just like sign out because that would screw everything up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
Even he takes the moment of redemption to be passive aggressive. Okay.
I don't know how I redeem myself from that. Anyway, Dork Lord Canada, I post a theory regarding Thrain and Trislan on Twitter. Any chance it might be true, puppy dog eyes?
Can you rewrite the tweet?
Yeah.
I don't know on Twitter.
Oh. What happens on Twitter?
Mm.
What happens on Twitter? Stay on Twitter? What?
Dork Lord, write it in the chat.
I'll find it.
Investigative
Nobody vamp.
reporting.
Nobody vamp.
Investigative
Be quiet
reporting.
until
No.
he finds it.
God damn it.
Investigative.
I'll just vamp telling cool secrets about
No.
everyone. Did
No.
you know?
Don't tell my secrets.
I was like, what are the secrets? What did I share? What did I say? I was like, was I drunk? Did I tell you something? What happened?
I wouldn't tell anyone secrets. I would tell like dumb, aborted, like plot lines that I was like leaning into.
Oh
my God, yes.
I want to hear that.
I want to know those.
Before I committed to having Thrain die, he was gonna, Hadal was gonna go after Sune because I thought Jason was gonna come back one more week.
Oh,
Yeah, it was gonna be a whole thing. So you guys were gonna watch what happened to someone else's god and all the fallout from that.
Oh.
And then maybe
man.
like work harder to save Thrain. And then I realized how many episodes were left in the season. I was like, nah, I gotta do shit.
That's so cool though. I mean, that could
Yeah.
happen in the next season with some like a similar situation.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, bring Jason on for like 5 minutes to kill his god and then kick him out
Yeah,
of the show.
yeah.
He was losing his mind when I told him, he's like, don't you do it. Don't you do it. I was like,
Oh my God. So invested.
Yeah.
Poor baby.
Oh, he's the best.
Okay. Personal theory from Dork Lord Canada is that Thrain is not all gone. The essence of Thrain is hiding in Trislan because Thrain can grow stronger off the love between Trislan and Dirty Hank.
Oh, that's really sweet. I like that.
That's
How was the question phrased originally?
The question was, they were asking if that was true,
well,
if it could possibly be true.
it's
But
sweet.
did they phrase it like, I heard this crazy rumor going around Twitter
No, they
about
said,
I like
fan
that.
theory.
They said
this
they couldn't
wild
form
fan
it.
theory.
they said they couldn't form it as a good question, but their personal theory was that.
Yeah.
Oh, personal theory. Okay, I was like, wait, was this crazy fan theory actually your theory?
It's a fun theory, but also Trislan is evil aligned, so Thrain can't bless her.
Yeah, she's technically.
Oops.
Yeah, that
She's
aligns.
Chaotic evil, isn't she?
She's chaotic. She was chaotic neutral when the campaign started, and then after everything that happened with Hadal, Abria was like, officially change your alignment.
Yeah, I
So-
think Addie started chaotic evil, and and became chaotic neutral.
Yep.
I think Hank's just always
yeah.
been true neutral.
I think
For
that's
real.
true.
Wherever the wind
real.
blows. I think this is very, very cute and very, like, I love it a lot and it's very nice. But one, I would say no, because it feels like it's forcing my players to like deeply invest in their relationship in order to like summon back a plot point. And also, I like when things have stakes and Thrain is dead. He's dead and fucking gone. Send down.
I like that. Like,
Send tweet.
I like that.
That's in the chat.
As the player, though, I like the idea that like Thrain is dead and Hank has to deal with it. Like once he discovers that, like it's not like, oh, I have to save him. I have to do something. It's like, no, he's dead because you weren't strong enough.
Yeah, and like you were saying, and Bria kind of alluding to, like, what's the fallout from that? And I think it's probably unlikely we've seen all the fallout already.
You haven't.
Yeah, just wait. It's
Tip
gonna
of
be
the
good.
iceberg, I imagine. Tip of the iceberg.
Imp in my head for Abria, you've made really great items for the group. Do you prep the items far ahead of time? Have you used D&D Beyond at all to create items?
Oh, so when the game first started, not so much the mini campaign, but like the first season, I made a shit ton of items and I had them in this little binder. And I was like, when they remember to loot, I'll just be eating items at them. And then they didn't for like the first 3 episodes. And I was like,
fucking worst pirates ever.
Yeah,
we don't loot.
Literally, like after an episode once, she was like you would have gotten some cool stuff if you would have, I don't know, looted any corpse.
I remember that.
Make an investigation shit. I got real petty. I was like, I just made so many items.
We always, this is actually your fault, Abria, because
That's
you
fair.
always win, or you always win, no matter what. But you always end every episode with like a fucking amazing, like mind erasing stinger.
Yeah.
What are we like? So we end on a combat, and then we transition to the stinger, and then at what point are we supposed to loot from the big boss battle? When are we supposed to emotionally recover enough to do that?
That's a super fair point. Yeah, I don't actually give you guys very good space to do that.
But also, we're bad at looting.
Not being amazing, Abria.
We also suck at looting. Even if she did give us space, we'd be like, okay.
So I make toast.
I'm sorry, what? This is a new special machine that also makes the bread like feel like toasty. Gonna build that.
I love the stingers. Can we go back to the question of what's your favorite part of the last season? All of Abria's stingers.
Those are, I always feel so weird. Like, everyone gather around, children, as I tell a probably very sad story.
It.
No, it's the best.
If there was
Fireside
an episode without a stinger, I would yell at you. I'd be like, why would you do that to me specifically?
You're like, Mommy, you need to give us the bedtime story. If you don't give us the story, we cannot go Betty bye.
I want to have nightmares.
But to finish answering the question very quickly, I have a bank of a bunch of them. And then when cute shit pops up on like social media, it's just like, the cake knife was literally based off of like a video of like some dude that made like a White Claw cake that looked exactly like a White Claw. And when he cut into it, it was actually a cake. And I was like, oh, well, what if the knife did that? And turned into it. Yeah. Yeah, and then I should actually go ahead and just like build them in a D&D Beyond so I can like send them out to people, because there's a big pile of like monsters with stat blocks, like the Snow Angels. I would like to release the stat block for them because they're very cool and they have like multi-form and like multi-attack and different spellcasting. So, yeah.
If you're a Patreon backer, you'll get them.
Yo, that's a promise. I will do that.
Nightshade 88, favorite tots, and what do you think they'd get up to as adults?
Pumpkin
is great. I love Pumpkin.
Pumpkin. I would die for Pumpkin.
Pumpkin's great, but let me counter that with Tater.
Oh, Tater's good too.
You've heard of Pumpkin, but have you heard of Tater?
Pumpkin was my favorite though.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Pumpkin talking about his burlap like diaper. Like
what's funny is when I made Pumpkin, I think I set a tier unlock that was just called like diaper poo poo or something. And when it got unlocked, I was like, oh, I have to do this now. Okay, a baby is there.
Yeah.
I like
baby
how
with a poopy diaper is there.
I like how much I stress over tears, and you made one just called like fucking poopy diaper.
All of my
That's
tears when I
amazing.
sent them to Dom, he was like, you can't do this. And I was like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I love the mystery. And they unlocked all of them. In my defense, all the tiers were unlocked. But they did just say things. They did just say things like a poopy diaper smash or something.
Yeah, typically he likes them to have like more description to that.
Yeah,
Look, Tom's still mad about it.
I'm so sorry. And all the tiers were unlocked, okay? Chat has my back. They understand me and what I mean, even when I don't.
It's on brand though. It's definitely on brand.
So
But same.
Oh my
But I'm
God.
sorry, I muted all of you.
Oh. Vanna was just manifesting. It's fine.
Spicy.
Uh,
Oh wait, yeah, I forgot. I had made a goal once just called Goat Ball.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
That was for the Mamma Mia one off.
Yeah,
Oh
Wow.
my
played goat ball.
God.
The tier was just called Goat Ball. I explained it to no one, including Dom.
Oh my God, my soul.
Goat Ball.
Choviksani asked, did Hank lose powers when his god died?
No, because his powers don't actually come from his god. That's the
They
thing.
come from his
drinking, his alcoholism.
Yes.
You're
Powered
not
by
a
the
drunken
alcohol.
master monk anymore, though.
Oh,
Yeah.
called
Yeah.
out.
No, I mean, I haven't been this entire season.
Called
I s-
out.
Yeah, I switched to Way of the Four Elements.
Yep.
Um,
His powers aren't gone, but his items are different, and there will be some interesting interactions with like how his Hank has like leaned into Thrain for support before, and it will be interesting like when he reaches towards that void again, like what will be there.
It'll
We'll
be
see.
Hadal. What do you mean?
It won't. That's too easy. You guys got like super tired of Hadal last season, so don't worry. It'll be different.
He just reaches out and he's like, Thrain, help me. He's like, oh, Thrain can't be, I'm Jeff. Sorry,
It's just a fax
Yeah.
machine noise.
I'm the dwarven god of waiting.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Philly Cheesesteak, what does Taika think of the crew individually?
Ooh, I like this. As a whole, she finds them all to be a bunch of absolute chuckle fucks and doesn't understand how they have any amount of intel more than the Grey Hands. Going through, she thinks Addie is an emotional, just a fucking nut job, and would be like hyper effective if she wasn't so distracted. Which is why she's like, oh, yeah. She thinks Trislin is untrustworthy because she hasn't had a lot of interaction with Trislin. And Trislin was like the last person, I think, canonically, was the last person that Taika met and said the least to her when they first met. So she thinks Eosh is like a very devoted father, but like she doesn't actually care about that. So like, that's fine. And Dirty, like she does not understand what to do with Dirty Hank.
Most people
all. Like, what?
Dirty Hank doesn't. To be
Yeah.
fair.
Taika's favorite person in the crew is Fair Juliet.
Wait, it's not Rose?
Nope.
What does she think about Rose?
She doesn't, because Rose isn't a person. She thinks of Rose like a pet. Like she's literally like, I will protect the child. I don't care about children.
Wow.
I just need to do the thing you need me to do in order to like get the information I need as a Grey Hands. But she vibes with the ship. There's a whole like side story between them. They're great.
Ooh, little AI love. I like it.
Romeo and Juliet. I see.
No one ever talks to Taika though, which is why you guys don't like have a better relationship.
Yeah, we
I talked
tried.
to Taika. We do it off. We do it like in the bits between. You know, like not on stream, but like downtime is when we spend time with Taika, right? Or at least Eoj and Addie would.
Fine, make a charisma saving throw to rescue this relationship with Taika. Do it.
I don't know why I care.
I care.
But you fucking do, and I love it.
We're invested.
I don't remember what my charisma is, but I rolled a 15.
All right.
I probably have a modifier of at least 2 or 3.
Maybe Taika thinks maybe she was wrong about Addie. And she will try to forge a better relationship with you in the next season.
Is she wrong?
Junk Garage asks for Abria, what does Fair Juliet think of the crew?
Ooh, Fair Juliet loves the crew. She's a good ship and inherently loyal. And we haven't had too much experience with other people being on the boat, but like that is definitely like notes in her character like profile. She loves the crew a lot.
She's a
Very
good
protective.
ship.
She's a good ship. She's like those dogs that are like super friendly to like their owners and like not super cool with other people.
My dog.
Yeah. Challenge accepted. I want to meet your dog. We'll become
Good
friends.
ship.
I want to meet that dog.
Well, it is 10 o'clock and we have answered all of the questions that have come through. So I think that we will wrap it up there. And I implore all of you who are watching now to come join us next week for the season premiere of season 3 of Pirates of Salt Bay with all of these lovely folks and maybe some new guests coming throughout the season based off of the suggestions. I'm working on Donald Glover. That's going to take a little while. But
I might be able to help with that.
I feel like he might have some time. A lot of people have time right now on their hands.
I'm like
it's
3
possible.
degrees of Kevin Bacon away from him. So
There you go.
Right?
Maybe we can get Kieran Shipka on.
that's true.
She is on the show. She's right there.
That's so awkward. Sorry, Kieran.
You went to her birthday party and everything.
So thank you to everyone who tuned in. Thank you to all of you who subbed, who gifted subs, and who tipped tonight for just to help us keep the studio alive. We are still paying rent and doing all of that stuff, so the studio still exists. It doesn't just magically go away, unfortunately. We still
Dom's planning arson. Magically go away.
That wouldn't just be arson, it would also be murder. So I'm not doing that. But but yeah, thank you so much for your support. It really means a lot, and it keeps us going and doing what we do. I will also say, before we have a sign out, I will also say that tomorrow I will be back here running Cold Shadows, which is a spy RPG for our RPG Exploration Society. That will be at 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. My guests will be, and fellow players will be, Eliza Pearl, Elisa Teague, Ben Dunn, and JB Jowra. It's
nice crew.
That's a good squad.
I'm super excited for it. The game is a lot of fun, and I've been watching a lot of spy stuff to sort of get in the mood. So I am excited. We were supposed to line up with James Bond coming out this weekend, but it's not. It's got postponed.
Oops.
So there we go. You're getting your James Bond fix through us.
Well, now it's following you up because it was inspired by your content.
Exactly.
There you go.
They're watching us. So there's that. And then Thursday at 3 o'clock, I'm doing another proficiency check. And
Nice.
then Friday, I will be back here doing Wildcards, which is our Savage Worlds show.
Heck yeah.
Let's go around the horn again and just tell us where we can watch you the rest of this week. Let's start with Nega.
Hi, hello. I'm Neko Oryx. I'm a full-time streamer here on Twitch. I also do lots of other fun things on the internet. So the best way to stay up to date with me is to follow along on Twitter so you don't miss out. Tomorrow I am participating in an Animal Crossing triathlon on stream. So it's a bunch of streamers competing in like little mini games in Animal Crossing. It should be fun. I'm going to be doing some Dead by Daylight squads. I just finished my Nancy cosplay from Dead by Daylight. And my squad mates who play as Steve and Nancy have also been putting together cosplay. So we're going to be doing some cosplay squad streams soon. Keep an eye out for that. And I'm going to be on the front page of Twitch playing Dead by Daylight on Friday.
Yeah.
So if you want to help me come like combat the trolls and show how nice the Twitch community can be on the front page, that's going to be Friday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. I'm live like 5 or 6 days a week now. I'm trying to be live as much as possible, given the state of the world right now. So if you need cozy vibes and some comfort, come say hi. Thank you for having me. This was so much fun.
Abria.
Hey guys, I'm Abria Iyengar. You can catch me on social media at Quiddy, Q-U-I-D-D-I-E. I stream in a couple different places. Right now, you can catch me on it's about to move. It used to be on Monday mornings on It's Probably Okay, Jason Mills's channel. We're playing a Into the Spider-Verse themed mask game, and I'm actually playing Miles. It's really, really like silly and fun. And keep an eye out on Scabby Rooster's like social media, because we're start kicking off a new game called Endymion's Gate, which is in the Hillfolk system, which is like a drama-based game. And that will be coming out soon. I want to say next week, but I'm probably wrong because I don't look at my email.
It's true.
I don't.
It's hard. It's hard to email.
Didn't do it before everything broke bad, so that's just on your girl.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you, Bria. Please, let's start
I hate
a club
it.
if we need to.
So much technology. I'm grateful for it, but overwhelmed.
Yep.
Why does everybody have access to me at all times? Huh? Why can't I hide in my hole without?
Can't be like, oh, actually, I have
door?
a place to be, and they're like, no, you don't. Like, you're probably home.
Why can't I just be at home being sad?
Oh, that's a big
Thank you. Thank you. Having existential crises. You know.
I cherish my very sad alone time. Thank you.
Terry.
Oh, okay. On that note, hi guys. You can find me wallowing in my sadness. Womp womp. Or watching scary movies and talking about them. I do that at Horror Movie Survival Guide on Mondays. It's a podcast, comes out every Monday. Patreon people get those episodes on Fridays, usually a little early. So incentive on that over there. And we also throw out fun, weird videos and other weird stuff for our Patreon people, which is lots of fun too. I don't know what movies. Oh, we just did interviews. We did interviews in the before lockdown that we've been releasing right now. The before time.
Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome is like one of my favorite movies.
So we have an interview that's out this week that we did with Graham Skipper, who is an amazing human and just a wonderful horror hound of a gentleman. And so we talked with him about Stuart Gordon and a lot of other great stuff, and talked about Sunshine, the film from Danny Boyle this last week. So check that out. You can find me next week here playing a pirate and doing that. And on Fridays, 12-Sided Stories. I think Otherworld London, is that out?
I think, yeah.
Yes, it is out now. So I think we have another episode coming out either this week or the next. New season with Abria joining the cast for the Otherworld London, which has been super fun. And
oh my God, that was so scary.
Do you smell what she's cooking?
Oh, I thought a man appeared behind you.
That's exactly what happened.
I know, but in a scary way.
I changed my answer to, can we get Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson to please come be on the show?
There's a fanny pack behind you.
He was so good in Jumanji. It's so great. The fanny pack's my favorite part of that freaking outfit. Anyway, thanks.
How many degrees of separation are you from The Rock, Eric?
I'd have to do the calculations. I don't know if any of my exes are like were roommates with him or anything, but I'll see. But yeah, listen. I dated a girl whose roommate was dating a very close friend of Donald Glover's. And I became friends with that person.
Okay, nice.
I've not spoken to them to anyone involved in that in 4 years, but that's fine. I'm sure just a quick text will be fine.
This is a good time to reach out.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'll just
I've
reach
got
out.
some random ass messages.
Yeah.
Please quit telling everybody about the Rock and I's previous romantic relationship / marriage. Thanks.
I'm Eric. You can find me in mostly Eric at most places. Which is also my Twitch channel where I stream on the weekdays playing video games. And at some point next week is when we do more Into the Spider-Verse. So you can catch me and Abria playing that. I play Spider-Man from Earth 666, who is Man Spider. And that's anything else. You can just check the Twitter. I'll post there.
It's so gross.
Is it a spider the size of a man with proportional man strength?
It's a version of Peter Parker that was bit by a spider that got more than just the agility and strength, but the visage of a bipedal spider.
Yeah, it's real bad.
Is that canonical, or is that something you created?
That's a real thing. I looked up Spider-Man.
It's canonical.
It's a canonical Spider-Man from Earth 666.
Actually so upsetting to me.
It really is. That whole campaign is so upsetting.
Everyone else is like, I'm Miles Morales. I'm this weird AU character that has all this stuff. I was like, I'm a giant spider monster.
Havana, want to be loved. Hi, you can find me on twitch.tv/Vanna. I stream there 5 days a week, hypothetically. I've been playing pretty much exclusively Animal Crossing right now. Yeah. But I think Resident Evil 3 is in the pipe, and that's just how I feel. It's very similar kind of game style, so I think it'll work in quite nicely. You can follow me on Twitter at Havanarama, HAVANARAMA, for updates on where I'll be and how I will be. Probably sad, but no spoilers. That's it.
Excellent. Well, thank you, everybody. Thanks for coming in and doing this. And I'm excited to see you all next week. And thank you all out there in Chatland for joining us tonight. This was a blast, and we'll see you here tomorrow, 6 o'clock, for RPG Exploration Society.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.